And we see it in the extreme north, but we also see it today in the regions like the northwest and the southwest. So we need to be sure that the youth feel empowered, the youth feel engaged, and that they actually see hope in their future so that they can make more positive choices for their life.
We have many missions inside that convention, but first of all I would like to remind that the IOC and the United Nations, they concluded an agreement to share the values of sports, to help the women, the youth, and also the refugees to get a better life. So we are all working for peace. We are all working for development. So we have the same goals, the United Nations and the IOC. But IOC cannot implement that decision if this decision is not taken over by the National Olympic Committees. That's why at the national level we come together to keep the spirit of the agreement that the United Nations and the IOC have signed, and then at the national level we can work together to implement what has been decided between our main organization at the world level.
That's how we saw it on Sports Vision this afternoon. We want to thank the entire technical team led by Serafin Kakwan. We want to say thank you to Christian Abo, Wilik Polom, Kavin Sevidzem, Benen Bumagana, Sirin Wazeke, Gideon the Final Tazo Clavisi, Patricia Leba Metukson, and Sports Vision was supervised by Simon Diongala Molombe. God willing, we shall be back next week Friday at 4 p.m. Stay tuned to programs on CRTV. Bye-bye.
Invité de marque.
Je ne crois pas que le cinéma camerounais soit redevenu ce cinéma que nous avons connu et qui avait des grandes œuvres, n'est-ce pas? Il faut espérer que cela va revenir.
Critique cinéma, making of.
Sans le festival Écran Noir, il y a longtemps qu'on ne parlerait même plus de cinéma au Cameroun.
Tapis rouge des grandes premières, scoop et gossip.
Keep supporting us, keep being there for us and keep believing in us. We're not yet where we want to be, but we're getting there.
Classement des box-office des acteurs et le top 5 des actrices les plus chic et fashion. On Set, le magazine qui décrit le vrai visage du cinéma 237 et africain.
We're going to leave now from this environment and take you over to the port where the material is put onto the ship one way to Douala, nation's economic capital. No questions therefore of wanton speculations over what more than ever before is simply now a matter of time. D-Day and its expected success story is clearly unquestionable.
Un tour dans le monde, le regard de la CRTV sur l'actualité internationale. Prenons rendez-vous tous les samedis sur la CRTV, juste après le journal de 12 h. Président, prenez rendez-vous dans 2 semaines pour la suite de cette série qui cette fois-là nous emmènera à la découverte d'un maître vannier autodidacte venu tout droit de la région du Sud. Je vous remercie d'avoir été en compagnie de nos programmes. Merci de rester sur CRTV News.
May 25, 2018. Thank you for watching CRTV News and welcome to this edition. Good evening to you, Gaël.
Bon après-midi, Benen Boumagana. Bon après-midi, chers téléspectateurs. Benen, vous avez les titres.
Housing and Urban Development Minister has instructed workers at the low-cost housing project to speed up the work already past delivery stage.
Une partie du massif rocheux situé au quartier Mendong appelé à Kokndo est en train de se fissurer. Risque pour les populations, les réponses dans ce journal. Voilà pour les titres. Bienvenue une fois de plus aux 17h. La première partie, c'est avec vous, Benen.
Of course, welcome. A gaping crack on a huge rock hanging on one of the hills in the Akongdo neighborhood here in Yaoundé continues sending fear down the hearts of the inhabitants at the foot of the hill. The Department of Civil Protection and the Ministry of Territorial Administration is putting measures in place to avert a pending cataclysm. Ewane Pole reports.
Mount Akongdoe is situated between the Yaoundé 6th and 7th subdivisions in the Mfundi division of the Central region. The natural feature has been attracting tourists and has also been making headline news on the social media of recent about the nature of the rock, which seems to have split into two.
The cause of the fragmentation of rock in Akongdoe is the root of tree and infiltration of the water. When water enters in the rock, it will destroy the minerals, and this will cause a fragmentation of the rock.
For the reverend population, the details given about the crack mountain appear not to be quite exact. I am born here at Akongdoe. I met the rock like that, and the rock has never caused any disaster. The rumors about the eventual collapse of the rock, which may cause disaster, has scared some of the inhabitants of Akongdoe. In this regard, officials of the Civil Protection Services in the region have taken stock of the situation.
The mission sent on the field by the Minister of Territorial Administration confirmed the risks. The minister himself also went to the site and gave instructions to the civil engineers, the fire brigade, and officials of civil protection to find solutions in order to protect the population in case of any disaster.
The Muslim community in Fu in the Central region has received a donation of food items from the Minister of Trade, Luke Magloa Mbarga Atangana. The food items come as his support to the Muslims who are in a holy month of prayer and fasting. Abel Sali reports.
The foodstuff donation comprises mostly of bags of rice, cartons of sugar, soap and vegetable oil, all items that are very important for Muslim faithfuls who are observing the Ramadan. Speaking during the occasion, the Minister of Trade used the opportunity to urge the Muslim community in the Mufu and Afamba division to continue praying for peace and unity in Cameroon.
Enemies want to put trouble in our country. Muslim, Christian, we need now to gather behind our leader, His Excellency Paul Biya.
Minister Luke Magloa Tangana described the donation as a gesture intended to support Muslim brothers and sisters.
It's the time for the Muslim to pray, and when you pray, you need force.
On their part, beneficiaries lauded the goodwill gesture and expressed their gratitude to the head of state for maintaining Luke Magloa as Minister of Trade.
We are glad we can say thank you to His Excellency Paul Biya, who have maintained in his government.
On the occasion, 8 imams raised their voices to Allah for peace and unity to reign in Cameroon.
Some inmates of the Betua Central Prison have received First Holy Communion during a special mass officiated by the Archbishop of Betua. In his homily, His Grace Joseph Atanga called on the new converts to communion with one another as they profess the Holy Trinity. Pati Ako Defan reports.
It was an extraordinary day at the Betua Central Prison as a score of the about 800 inmates were baptized and confirmed as Christians of the Catholic Church.
This ceremony is great for us because we understand that we are not forgotten by the entire society.
It's really special, truly, because we can see that the Lord is with us.
A dream which became reality after 3 years of special prayers and teachings under the guidance of the prison's chaplain.
Celebrate the Mass to prepare this day. We do the novena. From 3 years, we prepare them to receive the sacraments. And we prepare them to live in peace, to live in love.
Having received the Holy Sacrament for the very first time, the new Catholic converts therefore have the responsibility to rely fully on God while living in communion with one another and Jesus Christ.
They have to remain Christians. Our God still loves them, and they have to go ahead and be confident to the Lord and to one another.
And preparing a new life of opportunities after serving their prison terms is also part of the missions of the Betua Central Prison. The special Mass was also attended by municipal and administrative authorities of the East Region, as well as family members and well-wishers.
Cameroon joined the African continent today to observe the 55th Africa Day with a call to fight against corruption as a gateway to sustainable development. Charles Ebunen is at the courtyard of the Ministry of External Relations, where activities are going on in this light. Hello, Charles.
Hello, studio. A warm welcome to the Ministry of External Relations here in Yaoundé, Cameroon, where diplomats, especially those of the African diplomatic representations in Yaoundé, are celebrating the 55th edition of the African Day. And that, of course, takes us back to 1963 when the ex-Organization of African Unity was founded. And the 55th edition of the African Day for all the 54 African countries is being celebrated this year on the theme fighting corruption as the gateway to ensuring sustainable development across the continent. But just why too much focus on corruption this year?
It means clearly that after 20 years, our heads of state consider that the work is not yet done. We still have a long way to go. So they decided that 2018 should be a dedicated time to win, not only to fight. This time is winning the fight against corruption.
It should be recorded that at least 150 billion CFA francs are lost to corruption each year on the continent, which is a major setback to development. And the Kofi Annan report indicates that at least 50 billion of it is just on illicit financial flows. Over to you back in the studio as activities are still ongoing here.
Vous êtes bien sur CRTV News et vous suivez le 17h. Alors que se célèbre ce jour la 55e journée mondiale de l'Afrique, le continent est engagé dans des réformes institutionnelles dont le but est de promouvoir son développement. Reportage, Christelle Avom.
La proclamation par l'Union africaine de 2018, année de lutte contre la corruption sur le thème « Vaincre la corruption, une option viable pour la transformation de l'Afrique », transcrit la détermination des chefs d'État à lutter contre les maux qui minent le continent. Quoique depuis les années 80, l'Afrique ait formulé divers plans de développement économique, tels que le plan d'action, l'acte final de Lagos, cadre africain de référence pour les programmes d'ajustement structurel et maintenant l'agenda 2063. Ces projets qu'appuient les plans nationaux de développement des pays d'Afrique. L'objectif de la transformation économique reste hors d'atteinte. Des problèmes d'incohérence des politiques, de défis de gouvernance, d'inertie des dirigeants et de plus graves problèmes de corruption freinent les efforts déployés par l'Afrique en vue de sa transformation économique radicale.
Coopération Cameroun-Union européenne, son Excellence Hans-Peter Schadek et l'ambassadeur de France au Cameroun, Gilles Thibault, ont visité les travaux de construction d'une mare artificielle et d'un forage écologique ce mardi à Iagua. Reportage Abdulaziz Amadou, CRTV Extrême Nord.
Sur le chantier de construction de la mare artificielle et du forage à énergie solaire de Maldi, l'heure n'est plus au sommeil. Les 190 jeunes de ce village, autrefois des